That's what we're talking about today, guys. Communicate. And this is important because this is something that you need to work on. If not work on, this is something that you really need to consider because the better you communicate, guys, the better people can relate to you. Okay? Let me take these off so y'all can see me. Communication is key. And it's so important because the way you communicate with a person, that's the way a person will treat you. That's the way a person will approach you. And that's the way a person know how to approach you with your communication. Okay. Some people they won't deal with a person until they can hear them speak. Your voice is everything. But not only is your voice everything, what comes out your mouth is even more important because whatever comes out your mouth, that's usually what that person stands for. Okay? So being very, very conscious about what comes out your mouth is crucial. It's so crucial. Communication, being able to communicate. And one way to get better with communicating is literally by talking. Talking. Now, I'm not saying you got to talk all the time, but the more you talk, the more you converse with individuals, you get better with communicating. And there's different types of communication. It's verbal communication, it's nonverbal communication. So once you master all of those um, different types of communications, you'll definitely be able to communicate even more. All right. Especially through social media. Now, if you want to really communicate through social media, you really have to. And that's why I was talking about, well, I want to say 3 days ago, I was talking about luck. Yeah, I was talking about luck. And, sometimes people are lucky and they get it ASAP. And sometimes it's just a fluke. That means it's a one and done thing. But yeah, you can definitely do it. Now, as far as me, I'm taking the consistent route. So I'm doing the same thing every single day until I get the results that I'm looking for. Some people agree with that method and some people don't. That's one of the most challenging methods, though, guys. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Benny, welcome to the chat. Uh, Andre, Andrea, Andreja, welcome to the chat. Yeah, I'm on that consistency wave. So the more consistent I am, I'm gonna see results. Are you a Greens Bay Packer fan? Not really. I'm not a football fan. Period. I just love watching games, like great games. But we're talking about communication right now, and the more you communicate, the better. Yeah, I think I messed up your name though, and I apologize. Yep. But we're talking about communicating. And the more you communicate with a person, the more you communicate, period, you get better over time with communicating. And that's whatever you do, whether it be social media, whether it be in person, one on one. It's practice, trial and error, you know? Edwin, welcome to the chat. All right. But yeah, so we just talk about different things. And if you're new to the channel, every day I go live and I talk about different topics just the way so y'all can see me in person. I'm always uploading podcasts and shorts, but I go live because I want y'all to see me. And if y'all want to ask me questions like in real time, this is your chance to do that. All right? This is your chance to do that. Today we're talking about communication. All right? Communication, communicating, and why it's so crucial. A lot of people don't really understand the importance of communicating. So what if one has an issue with what? Like life in general? If you have an issue with anything, this is the channel for that. Like you can vent. This is a safe space for people to vent, to let off steam, energy, not energy, but steam, frustration, um, Yeah, that's the reason why I created this platform. So what if someone has an issue with talking? Well, if some, that's why I was talking about earlier. I think you missed that part. So if a person has issue with talking, right, or they cannot talk, they might be deaf or whatever like that. That's why I said there's different types of communication. You have verbal communication, and you also have nonverbal communication. If you want to be skilled at communication, period, you're gonna have to master all of those. Now, if you're not blessed with, if you cannot talk, of course, you're gonna have to be very skillful in nonverbal communication. And that's not that, honestly, it's not that hard because a lot of what we do is nonverbal communication, and that's through text messages when we're reading something on social media. A majority of us can read, and we have like at least a fourth to fifth grade reading level. So it's not that difficult to lock in and to communicate with people, especially if you cannot verbally talk. Nonverbal communication is a massive way to strike people's attention because when somebody reads something, different people react, especially nowadays. Like I might see a picture or something, and the first thing I'll do is go to the comment section. You know, what if one has a problem with being responsible? It's talking criticism. You talking about criticism? Okay, criticism and responsible. What if somebody has a problem with that? Well, honestly, I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. Nobody's gonna be perfect. Somebody's gonna always have a problem with something. So, my best advice when it comes to that, with criticism, you just gotta let people learn for themselves. If a person has a problem with, criticism, if a person has a problem with being responsible, I try to stay away from people like that because I don't want it to rub off on me. Jay Black, love from South Africa. Welcome in. Welcome to the chat. Mr. Poppins. Bus. He almost 40 years. He almost, but he's almost 40 years old. Yeah, age don't really have nothing to do with it. It does when it comes to certain things like experiences and stuff, but everybody mentality is totally different. Yeah, honestly, we're in that day and age where a lot of us are just brainwashed and we're like in a hypnotic type trance, you know? I'm bussing, nah, has two kids. Well, hey, you know, everybody learns different. Everybody matures different as well. So hit the name, Mr. Poppins. Say so, Poppins. I'm literally about to block you pretty soon if you keep trolling. Just being honest with you, but expect everyone else to tend to them. That's irresponsible. That's very irresponsible. Okay, I just bro, I'm not trolling. Okay, cool, but I expect them to. But okay, so when I was twisting my hair, I was thinking about something, right? Everybody has ways of showing how they feel, and like I was saying earlier, people, some people express their feelings verbal, some people express their feelings nonverbal. And when I was thinking about what you were saying, Edwin, some people he might be crying out for help. You never know, like that might be his way of crying out for help. Some people don't know how to express how they feel honestly, and they choose different ways of expressing how they might. So that might be a way that they feel, you know, they don't pay rent. I don't give the IRS any money. Okay, you know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Honestly, that's a talk. Because I'm 17. Okay, cool. Good job, Poppins. Um, that's something that you might need to talk over with that person. Y'all might need to have a sit down and talk just so y'all can be on the same page, you know? Just so y'all can be on the same page. But like I was saying before, people show their emotions different ways, okay? But I smoke weed. I wouldn't be smoking that weed, man. That weed can mess you up, seriously. And not only mess you up, it can keep you broke. Just being honest with you. I definitely know about the weed. I stopped smoking, but that ain't nothing. I would never recommend a person to smoke weed. And that's the crazy thing. Everybody trying to, well, big companies are trying to advocate and push that on people just so they don't have a sharp mind so they can't think. I've been smoking since 11. Ooh, when you try to, he gets explosive. Okay, well, like I said, you might want to try nonverbal way. Writing a letter, a little note. That definitely could work. That definitely could work, you know. But guys, I cannot stay on that long. I definitely have to get on my other channel, but I will be back tomorrow, and we're gonna be talking about something different this whole week. And I might do some 2 days. All right. All right. Appreciate it, bro. Much love, man. Until the next time, make sure you like, share, subscribe so you can stay notified. Work on your communication and research how to communicate. All right. Until the next time, subscribe, stay alive, like, share, subscribe so you can stay alive. And I'm out. I subbed and like. Appreciate it, Poppins.